When she sees both of them together in front of her, then she embraces them and slowly goes away from there. In the next scene, we see that Soo is sitting in his office and is constantly thinking about Yen. Yen is always seen near Gu and talks to him nicely. Does she like Gu? Then his secretary comes and he starts telling some things about the office, but Soo does not pay attention to all those things and unknowingly asks his secretary whether any girl can like Yen more than me. On this, his secretary does not say anything and keeps standing there. There we see Luffy exile and Jan who are planning to unite Yu and Song, where Luffy plans that if he makes Song feel jealous, then she will go and tell her feelings to Guy as soon as possible, because in the last few days, Luffy has an idea that Song's feelings for God are slowly fading away, and so as per his plan, Luffy invites Song for tea and pretends to talk to Jan, saying that Jan is going to tell her feelings to Gut today. Jan goes to Gu's office as per the plan. During all this, Song quickly gets up from Luffy and goes to Guy's office, where Jan is already standing near Guy, whom she pushes back and sits next to Guy. After which, Jan leaves from there, but Gu was continuously looking at Yen. Meanwhile, Song tells her heart's feelings to Guy, but Gu does not answer any of her words. Instead, he frees her hand and goes straight behind Yen, and Jan stops her and asks if all this was your plan, right? Because of your sudden arrival in my office and Song's following you, this cannot be a coincidence. To which Jan says that, yes, it is a good thing that you get into a relationship with a girl, which will make both your and her life happy. To which Gu says that it should not matter to you with whom I will spend my life. You should keep your work to yourself. Soo is watching Guyan and Jan talking from his car. Next scene, Soo is thinking about Jan and drinking a lot, sitting in a bar. Then his friend comes there and Soo asks for love advice. Then his friend says, that can such a big businessman also have problems in love, on which Soo says that should I propose to the girl who I love or ask her to go on a date? If she refuses, then his friend says that then you should try again. Anyway, someday she will agree. In the next song shouts at him that if he wants to go on a date with me, then he should call me and not you, and saying this, she disconnects the call, and then Luffy is also with her, who asks her the reason for being angry. Then Song tells her that Shu called her and told that Guyan wants to go on a date with her, but he did not call me, so I will not go. While Jan and Soo are also going there. When Luffy hears Jan's name, he starts worrying about him and starts leaving from there so that he can go and ask Jan about all this. But Song does not let him go and says that we both have just come here, and where are you going so soon? I would not let you go like this, and see Luffy getting worried for January. She agrees to go on a date with Guy. In the next scene, we see that Soo and Guyan are preparing barbecue, and Song and Jan arrive. Song goes to Guyan and starts talking to him, seeing which Jan goes inside. Actually, Song is telling Guy that you should tell me this slip and whatever is written in it while sitting for lunch. After reading, which Guy refuses because it contains a love confession, to which Song says that no, you have to do this. Then the four are sitting and having lunch when Song tells everyone that if Guyan wanted to tell me something, then say it. Guy takes out the slip and reads it without any feelings, after listening to which Song gets upset. She thinks, what should I say on this, and turns her face and sits down. Jan feels very bad after hearing all this. So she goes towards the washroom, followed by Soo, who comes to know that Jan is feeling bad with all these things. Song makes herself clear that Guyan is not the person who can keep Song happy forever, so she decides to break up with Guy by shaking hands with him right there, and the two leave from there saying that they are going their separate ways, and Jan also leaves for her home after coming out of the washroom. In the next scene, we see that Song is very drunk and she is sitting with Luffy on the terrace, where she is telling Luffy that now she does not like her but likes someone else, and she is pointing towards Luffy. Then, Luffy interrupts her and says that now you should stop drinking more or drink in your place because upset people get drunk quickly, and saying this, Luffy drinks a lot and he falls asleep in a drunken state by keeping his head on Song's shoulder. Weir sports him and brings him to her house. Luffy in a drunken state calls him a friend, then Song starts hitting him, then Luffy calls him an impertinent friend, hearing which Song becomes happy and both of them sleep together on the bed, opens his eyes in the morning and sees Song in front of him. He gets scared and asks what happened to us last night, to which Song says that you should know this. Why do you drink so much that you are not in your senses? And after hearing all this, Luffy gets completely upset. Their song calls Guy and tells him that you have to tell my friend that we both don't have any relationship anymore. We have broken up, to which Gus says that we both were never in a relationship. Then why the breakup? To which Song says that do as I say, I helped you earlier by becoming your girlfriend. Now it is your turn, and then Luffy comes out of the bathroom. Then Gu tells Song that I want to break up with you, and I end this relationship here. Luffy tries to convince Gu, but Guy doesn't stop there and starts leaving. Luffy goes behind Gu to clear the misunderstanding between these two and tries to convince him, but Guy refuses him and leaves from there. At the same time, we see that Luffy is telling Yen that both Song and Guy have separated from each other because Song now likes some other boy, on which Jan asks, who is that boy? Luffy says that maybe it is me because Song likes me only, on which Jan starts staring at him. Then Luffy says that I do not know why Song likes me, because I have not done anything like this, and you should stop doubting me. After this, Jan goes straight to Guy's office and asks, why did you break up with Song? Then he says that you do not need to worry about all this, and there is no need to get into my personal matter. You keep your work at bay. After hearing all this, Yen leaves from there, and it is raining heavily outside, but Yen does not care. She is going while getting wet, then Sue, seeing her, brings an umbrella. Gu comes from behind before that and puts the umbrella on Yen, saying which Yen comes near him and Sue is standing and watching both of them from a distance. So he decides that he will meet John and find out about his feelings, and the next morning, he goes to meet Yen at his restaurant where his manager tells him that a very strange order had come. They were calling only Jan to deliver the order. So Jan has gone there to deliver chicken. Gu finds all this a bit strange, so he takes the address of that place from the manager and goes to January. Jane goes to that place and looks around. A man tells her that you have come inside, but now you cannot go out. On which Jan goes to him and hits him on the head, and after that, the man calls 2-3 more people and starts attacking January bites Will, but after some time, Jan gets tired, and just when a man is about to attack her with a stick, Gu comes there and takes the stick on himself, due to which he gets hurt on the head, and all of them run away from there in fear that the police must be coming any minute. Seeing Gu in an unconscious state, Yang comes to home crying and shifts him to the hospital, where when Gu regains consciousness, Yen goes to call the doctor, but Gu holds her hand and makes her sit there and says that you sit beside me only and don't go anywhere else, and holds both her hands in his hands. Just then, Zao comes there. Yen and Gu are very happy to see them together. Gu asks Yen for water, so Yen gives him water in the same manners the doctors had told her to. Zao is standing and watching everything, and when Gu signals him to go out, he goes out. Then Gu's sister, because he also comes there. Zao stops her from going inside, but she goes inside and keeps asking Dio about his health. On this end asks Zao to take her out. Zao pulls her out and says that you should let them spend time together. On this, guys, he says that was this all you wanted to tell me? Ing Zhou goes close to her and looks at her face carefully and says that you do not take proper care of your skin because you are getting dark circles. Hearing all this, Gu gets angry and leaves from there. We see that Yen is in the same room as Gu, and both keep looking at each other and are unable to sleep. So Jan pulls the curtains and goes to sleep. The next morning when both wake up, Gu's reading a book, seeing which Jan starts playing with the shadow and also goes to kiss him. Gu lies down on the bed in the shadow, and Jan also lies down. After which we see that Sue has come to meet both of them, and he sees that Yen and Guy are together. Well, Yan's hair is stuck in Gu's shirt and both of them are trying to free it. Seeing this, Sue gets angry and says that don't these doctors even know that Yen is a girl and she should be given a separate room. On which Gu says that now it is not like that. We both are friends, and both of us patients have come together so we can stay in one room. After which Sue leaves from there, then he meets Yen and Gu's doctor, from whom he asks about the health of both. Then the doctor tells him that Yen has a very dangerous blood disease whose treatment is almost impossible, and in this, it cannot be known that for how many days Yen can live. Hearing all this, Sue gets shocked and tells the doctor that whenever its full report comes, you should inform me first, and leaves from there. We see that Gu recovers and goes home. And he comes to meet Yen at her house, where he stops on seeing Sue coming out, and then both of them go to the park together for a walk, where Sue asks Gu about his feelings again, and he clearly tells him that, yes, I like her, on which Sue says that now it is okay. Now both of us will compete openly, and whoever Yen likes will win. Here ends the drama. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps.